I have to admit, my leg from the kneecap down was a little wobbly, and it took me a little bit to kind of get back up.
Vampire as reality TV. A modern twist on a dark and timeless legend that has its roots in the mysterious land known as Transylvania. No matter how suave or debonair a vampire looks in the movies,
You have no heartbeat.
everyone knows what he's after.
Perhaps he just needs to be rekindled.
That vital life energy within us all. Blood. It's an entertaining image, but it falls flat with most modern vampires, for whom blood is no longer the death and life thing it's made out to be in the movies. Instead, the life force most of them crave is something called psi, or psychic energy.
I am more than willing and think that it is not anything mystical or esoterical or occult, that it is actually something that is entirely within the reign of modern science to understand. We may not have developed all of the machinery and tools necessary to measure it.
Michelle Belanger is the author of the Psychic Vampire Codex, a manual that teaches psi vampires how to feed on this vital human energy they claim to need. While most of us can't see, hear, taste, or touch it, according to Michelle, we all project it.
If you go someplace and you are wound up in your bad mood, whether you realize it or not, you are projecting that everywhere. And as a vampire, you realize that everybody everywhere is constantly connected, constantly exchanging energy.
Michelle says at one point she tried to get by without feeding on this energy, and it made her so sick she needed to be hospitalized.
As a psychic vampire, there is what amounts to like a diabetes of the spirit, of the energy body. There is something that doesn't work quite right, and it impacts not just your emotional or energetic health. Eventually it starts to impact your physical health.
Now, to stay healthy, she feeds about every 2 weeks.
A week passes, a week and a half passes, I start getting a little tired, a little bit more distractible, forgetful, and just, less focused, less sharp. And that's kind of my sign that I need to do it.
Michelle allowed us to film an exchange between herself and Zamian, her regular human donor. It's a deeply private moment, not exactly the stuff of a horror flick.
The relationship between the vampire and donor is not one of dominance and submission. It's not one of predator and prey. It is one of two people celebrating something that they share on a very deep level.
In fact, the ritual looks a bit like a sensual massage. Michelle says she's drawing in Zamian's energy with her hands and mouth.
A lot of the action is purely internal. Whether I am actually breathing in from the person or putting my hands there, I'm using the breath to focus what I'm taking from them. I'm literally breathing the person in.
This exchange only lasts 5 minutes, though others can go much longer.
Thank you.
Afterward, Michelle says she feels refreshed, and Zamian also claims to feel different.
Chills. A little disoriented. Elated.
But not everybody buys the idea of energy transfers. Some traditionalists say Dracula would roll over in his grave at the thought of it.
I think we're all psychic vampires. I mean, we all need energy from people. I mean, and that's what the story of Dracula is. He, needs contact with people.
It's easy to be skeptical about what psychic vampires say they can do. But it would also be unfair to not show something strange captured by our own video camera. After following Michelle most of the night at Dracula's ball, we began an interview early the next morning with a set of newly charged batteries.
You'll find this with a lot of people in the subculture. I interfere with cell phone reception. I can't keep batteries in cell phones or digital cameras to to save the life of me, charged.
Oddly enough, our camera began to pick up strange interference. Then, just a few minutes later, the fresh batteries suddenly went dead, abruptly ending the interview. Psychic energy apparently doesn't just come from within. Vlad and Sky, a New York City couple known for performance art pieces, say their rituals are all about the energy.
It means everything. It's very spiritual. There's a lot of energy exchange, and that's simple and to the point. A lot of people don't understand that.
Don Henry says he often feeds on a crowd's energy at nightclubs.
A lot of people are wasting their energy, literally. Going on a dance floor and just, you can see it. You see it just floating, and you're just breathing it in, you know? It's just out there.
Even though this energy is free for the taking, some vampires still get their nourishment the old-fashioned way, sucking blood. Don is one of the few modern vampires who practices both psi and sang, or sanguine, vampirism. He says the blood is more of a symbol than substance, a metaphor of the life energy within us all.
It's like writing just the word energy and putting it on a piece of paper, but the piece of paper is the blood. And you transfer it over to you, and then you read the word blood on it. But instead, it's energy just being transferred over. So it's very rude, or actually a crude, rudimentary means.
But blood drinking is also one of society's deepest taboos.
I think the bloodletting thing is more bark than bite. I think there's probably a small percentage of people that really do get off on it. And I think that is a small percent. I mean, and then I think there's a large group of people that like the idea of doing this and freaking other people out.
I find it to be, it's first of all unhealthy, and second of all, I don't understand what they really think they're accomplishing there. It's just symbolic for them of some kind of weird bond society that they have amongst themselves.
Due to health concerns, some sang vampires carefully choose and screen their donors. Raven, who we met at Dracula's ball, even founded House Eclipse, a website for vampires in the Washington, D.C. area, with strict rules for sang members.
All of them are required to keep a blood test on file with the house and get it renewed every 3 months, period. No excuses. If you miss it, you're out.
Because sang vampirism is such a big taboo, few practitioners will discuss it. Vlad and Sky reportedly do some performances that include blood play, but wouldn't talk at all about how they exchange energy.
Energy is something that cannot be readily explained to someone such as yourself who would be viewed as an outsider. So it's something that overall population wouldn't understand. It's just something that is invigorating and enlightening and
Very spiritual.
But even within the subculture, many lifestylers and psi vampires question the act.
If you want to be a blood drinker, go be a blood drinker. But don't do it in my club, and don't bring it to my table.
While sang rituals usually are practiced behind closed doors, cloaked in secrecy, Don